Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 334 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. I'm your host, Erik Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, it's September already.
September? We're already in. We're in this September. It's not even the beginning anymore.
I know.
We are in it. Yes.
Unofficially the end of summer.
The chill has come into Michigan.
Oh, I love that, though.
Oh, me too. Oh, yeah, man. I went for my run this morning. It was 45 degrees. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hoodie weather in the morning and short weather in the afternoon. That's the best Michigan has to offer.
I think that's pretty much how you dress every day, isn't it?
Well, I don't do the hoodie, but yeah.
I
I'll bundle up in the wintertime, so...
I figured you were a set the AC to 62 kind of guy.
Oh,
but...
in the hotel I am.
Oh, yeah.
The hotel, it goes right to 62. I will say that this year when I stayed, where the heck did I stayed over Sunday into Monday for MIS. I stayed, I forget what town I stayed in. Usually I stay in Ann Arbor. I stayed somewhere else a little closer to the track, and that air conditioner actually got it freaking cold in the room.
Nice.
The Ann Arbor ones, it's cold, but it's not like it doesn't stand. This was too cold for me, actually. It was, and I could have gone colder. So, yeah, I like a cold hotel room. I don't do that at home because it costs too damn much.
Well, that's the thing. I remember vividly in college, I got a bad habit because you didn't have to pay for the heating bill at my apartment.
Yeah.
So I would crank the heat, but then I'd shut my bedroom door at night and let the windows go wide open. This was like in January, and it was the best.
Yeah.
And can't do that anymore because, like you said, utilities, man, they come back to get you. It's not good.
Well, that's what everybody wants us to hear us talk about.
Yes,
after,
I know.
After the,
how did we get on that tangent?
I don't know, man.
One of the great races of the season, and we were talking about sleeping in the cold weather. Beautiful.
Could have been the greatest race of the season, James.
Man,
it's right up there. It's on the list.
You were watching it live. It was so good.
Yeah, right. Why? So I did the family stuff on Saturday, and that was the stipulation was, okay, I'm doing this Saturday. I'm not going to complain. Not going to say, when are we leaving? None of that stuff. Just going to sit it out. And Sunday, I'm sitting down and watching the race, and that's what happened. So
beautiful.
Yeah, and it was a good one to watch. Although I will say, it felt long. The first and second stage felt long, but it's Darlington, man. It's got to be long, so it's okay.
It always does. Yeah.
But the end made up for it. That's for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But the way it started, James, I thought, holy crap, like this is going to be insane.
Yeah.
2 laps in, and one of the best drivers in our era takes himself out and last year's champion.
Yeah, he also admitted it too when Eric said, man, screw it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess there's all there is to that.
Yeah.
Screwed it up.
Yeah.
But, man. And then it turned into the Kyle Larson show for 263 laps.
Insane.
And then things got fantastic. Really, really good. Not too often that we're texting each other back and forth, because usually I tried not to spoil anything, but I knew you were there, so I was like, "This is fantastic. This is good." I mean, Chase Briscoe. We probably should mention his name here eventually.
Yeah,
but
I think he's going to get lots of props in this episode. James, you already got props on our website, so
I know exactly. Yeah, you wrote a piece.
Yeah.
The superspeedway.com, by the way. I don't know. I've been trying to settle myself down after that race, but I'm trying to think in recent memory if there's been a it's not that it's, I don't want to say that was an out of left field, but like somebody just went and took it from everybody else. I can't really place it in my mind. Like, not like that. Like Harrison Burton winning at Daytona, magical moment. It's Daytona. We kind of understand the circumstances there, but to come into Darlington and just track down Kyle Larson all night, just kind of riding with him all night long, never going away, and then had an opportunity and just took the show to everybody else. don't recall anybody kind of hunting it down quite like that in recent memory.
The thing is too, like, okay, Kyle Larson dominated this race. Kyle Larson won both stages. Like you said, 263 laps led. He led 70% of this race.
He led more laps in this race than his teammates have all season long, by the way.
But
no Hendrick teammate has more laps led than Larson led on Sunday.
But Chase Briscoe finished third in the first stage, second in the second stage.
Yep.
And I mean, he was there the whole race. This wasn't
just tracking him down.
You know, Harrison Burton, fluke win. You know, Austin Dillon, his win. You know, I mean, he was running really well that day. But this was an all-around strong performance all day long by Chase Briscoe, overshadowed only by the fact that Kyle Larson was leading the entire time.
Yes.
But this was a magnificent day for Chase Briscoe. And look, here's the thing with Darlington. You don't especially the Southern 500. You don't luck into a win at Darlington.
Toughest race on the circuit, as told by many NASCAR drivers of today and the past. This is the toughest place. This is the toughest race.
If you win a race at Darlington, you are a wheelman. You are one of the best drivers in NASCAR. Yes. And Chase Briscoe's resume doesn't show that, but winning this race shows that. And I'll say the same thing about Erik Jones, who's won here a couple times. You know, I mean,
twice.
You know, yeah. I mean, hell, there's people who have won here that haven't won a lot of races.
Yeah, because Regan Smith comes to mind.
Regan Smith, Ricky Craven.
You
know,
yep.
But these are guys that were really good drivers, just weren't necessarily in the right situation. And I mean, Chase Briscoe is going, as I wrote this week, he's going to the right situation at the right time after he just proved, I mean, for the second time in his Cup career, really, that he can put a car on his back and win with it. Because he kind of did the same thing when he won at Phoenix.
Yeah, he was dominant that day.
Yeah. So, kid can drive, man. There's nothing else you can say.
Nothing. NASCAR is always looking for the level playing field, but nothing quite does it like very, very high tire wear.
Right.
And we had some tire wear that had comers and goers, and it shook the field up like crazy. And just at the right time, you know, you had Chastain out there gambling, trying to do anything he could to stay alive. You had Larson, who in a little bit of a situation himself. We talked about this last week. Like, those guys were trying to get as many points as possible because that regular season championship was on the line. So he's out there, you know, obviously he's trying to dominate the race, but he's also driving. I think I said this to you in a text that he was driving a little bit more, not over his skis, I guess. Is that the way to say it? He was more controlled than normal.
Yep.
And you had a guy in the complete opposite situation who was like, I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I'm here, and I've been in this situation before, and I have screwed it up many times, but not tonight. Tonight, I'm not going to screw this up. I'm going to put it where it needs to go, and got it done.
This is the best track on the NASCAR circuit. I know a lot of people are saying that Kansas is the best track in the NASCAR circuit because this car is so good on it. This track is the best.
Great racing.
This track is the best track in the NASCAR circuit because, James, it doesn't matter what you race there. It is good at Darlington. We could race dump trucks on this track, and it would be a magnificent race. It's just the nature of the track. It is, and they showed it. I mean, NBC, God, how good of a job is NBC doing? But they showed the image of the back straightaway and how the wall, you turn right to go into turn 3. Like, it's insane. I mean, it's that stuff that this track is built that way because it's old that you'll never get in a modern racetrack ever. Because you'd never build one that way.
And you can drive this racetrack even if you have an old NASCAR video game. I don't care what era it is. You could just pick up the sticks and try to drive this track in one of those. And it's like, well, what the heck's going on? I'm going into turn 1. It's completely different than turn 3.
Yeah.
I can't find my rhythm. It's all wonky.
This track ruined my Hall of Fame visit, James. Because this is the track the boys drove on that they got so pissed because they couldn't turn a lap that they made the entire trip miserable for all of us because they were so upset.
That's the hardest one. Yeah.
If we'd only gone a week later and they could have raced Daytona, they'd have been fine, or a week earlier, you know?
Would have been totally fine.
So, yeah, I don't know. Darlington's freaking amazing. And, you know, we were worried about the fact that we lost Daytona as the cutoff race this year because of the Olympics. I had the feeling, because the Southern 500 always has these moments. it's a great start to the playoffs because it has these moments. And
Yep.
so I was pretty hopeful that we'd still have some of that, but I didn't think we'd have all of that. But we had all of that this weekend.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
And it was even better because it wasn't just a crapshoot coming on the line. It was Chase Briscoe outdueling one of two of the best drivers, actually both of the best drivers, maybe ever in the sport.
The greatest Kyles of NASCAR history, right?
Yeah, I mean, slap Jimmy Johnson in there, and arguably you'd have the three greatest drivers ever there,
Yeah, it was, he's going to retire someday, and he may or may not have a championship. He's going to have a chance.
Chase Briscoe?
Yep.
Oh, he's gonna have a really good chance.
He's gonna have a lot of swings at it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And someday, maybe down the line, way down the line, if he so does win that championship, he's gonna get a chance to be inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and he's gonna be on stage. And this race, if everything goes the way I think it's gonna go for him eventually, this race will come up for him. Because it was not only an amazing underdog story for him as a driver, but everything that we already know about Stewart-Haas Racing going out of business.
Yeah.
No more support from Ford. We had Greg Zipadelli saying that guys are showing up the track and their laptops aren't working anymore.
Right.
The whole organization's just kind of been in like a zombie state for the last handful of weeks.
And not only that, but driving his hero's car.
Yeah, driving his hero's car, and his future is secure, but you could see how much it meant to him to deliver this to that organization. And I was watching, he was speaking to everybody today at the shop. And it's just sincerity from him that, you can catch that from time to time. And I thought that was, it just speaks volumes. Like, he gets out of the car, and when he kneels down next to it, he's not putting on a show.
Right.
Like so many athletes will put on a show.
Yeah.
He genuinely feels everything. And he told us that after the race. I mean, he said, God works in mysterious ways, because in 2020, he outdueled Kyle Busch in that Xfinity Series race. And that was really, going back in my brain, Eric, that was the light bulb moment for me when I watched him do that.
Yeah.
And he said, we just found out we had a miscarriage. They didn't even have a family started at that point. And now he has a son and twins on the way. His wife, this was her last race.
Yeah.
she's about to pop.
Yeah, she was out there on the front stretch.
I mean, it's just like this, this just ball of amazingness that comes together every once in a while. You get like a supernova of a moment, and it all just came together for him. And whatever he does from here, will be icing on the cake, because he did something magical on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was really great.
I mean, we don't think he's not a contender for the championship, right? I mean, anything can happen, but he's not a contender.
Stranger things have happened. I don't know if Ford's going to continue to help him, though. So
you got to think that they've got to put.
Going to hurt.
So here's the question I have, which I haven't seen anybody ask, James.
Yeah.
Whose charter just got more valuable? Because it's probably not SHR's. It's probably not Haas, because Haas probably kept the 4.
Well, the problem is...
Right? No, seriously, though.
Yeah. The problem is it sounds like agreements are already in place.
Right. So I'm assuming they plan to keep the 4, and now the 14 is going to likely be more valuable because it's got a playoff berth this year. I don't know how it all works, how the business of it all works, but...
There's a yearly... The 4 car is still going to be valuable because of the multiple times that it's made the playoffs. I still think it holds the most value, but still no rebuttal from me, because the 14 car has made the playoffs twice now and had a top 10 finish in points too. So
yeah,
or at least a top 8 run when he was in the mix there a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't know how all the business of it works, but it's certainly something I haven't seen asked.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to know. Because somebody's charter just got more valuable.
It's just funny because all these deals are already in place and there's nothing signed because we don't have charters.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe this week. Maybe this week, James.
maybe.
We'll talk about that in a bit too.
Yeah, we will.
Definitely got to talk about the guys that were left out in this whole situation. Of course, we had the Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher battle throughout the night as to which one was going to make it in. And in the end, it didn't matter because Briscoe basically knocked them both out. But Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace fall out. Chris Buescher would have made it if Briscoe would not have won.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
If something had happened to Briscoe, Kyle Busch was next in line.
That's true.
So,
That is true.
And Kyle Busch is the one maybe who was the closest to missing out.
That's true. So Kyle Busch misses out as well. And I know I will let you say the name of the fourth driver that missed out.
Which one? Oh, you want me to say the nickname I have for him?
I don't know.
Or just his real name?
You've been waiting to celebrate this moment.
Is now the right time? I want to kind of delay gratification.
Okay, we can save it.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Ross Chastain missed out.
There you go.
Ross Chastain missed out. Please ignore my tap dancing shoes if the mic picks him up. Sorry about that.
He tried the newest version of the Hail Melon.
Boy, was that funny or what?
I mean, so here's the thing. Here's the inside baseball, guys. James and I are texting back and forth, like we said, and James messages, "Watch Chastain stay out." And I'm like, no frickin' way. He's not going to stay out. That's stupid. Like, it's insane. It's 9 laps. We already saw what that does to tires. He's not going to have a shot. No way they're that stupid to stay out. And I'm watching it, and I see a car right turn, and I'm like, who is that? And I see the one on the side, and I went, ha! And my wife's down in the other part of the room, and she goes, what happened? I said, oh, God, James he just predicted that Chastain was going to stay out, and he stayed out. So audible reaction from me during this race that Chastain actually stayed out. I mean,
I'm glad I could bring that out of you.
It was a bad move, but they didn't have anything else, right? I mean, it's the only shot they
No, you had to do it. Like, it's funny to laugh at it in the moment because of
Yeah.
the situation he was in. For me, anyway, But you gotta, like, he didn't have it. He hasn't had it all season, to be honest with you.
They've had a terrible year.
But Buescher, the way Buescher was running, like, Buescher had himself in position, and then Bubba was in trouble.
Yep.
Bubba had gotten into the wreck, so it's like, okay, we got to try to outscore Buescher. Can't really outscore him at this point, so you're gonna have to try to win the race, and that was it.
Yeah.
But that's the system, man. You got to win races, and 14 of these guys who are in the playoffs won. Another guy won, but he's not in.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, these guys win to get in, and I mean that's pretty much the whole field. I mean, look at Martin Truex Jr., who had scored a ton of points all season long, and at one point in this race, I think he was only in by 6 points at like early on. I thought he was in big time trouble, but then Chastain continued to fade, and
Right.
it became Buescher's shot at it, but Buescher wasn't catching Truex, so big sigh of relief from the 19 team, that's for sure.
So I got to ask you. So as Jeff and Jordan brought it up on the Teardown this week, is in the era of the next gen car, is points racing done during the regular season? I mean, you gotta win, right?
Yeah, these guys don't do it very often. Like, nobody points races.
Well,
honestly.
there's too many positions that are going to winners now.
Yeah.
That you can't points race because you're racing for 2 or 3 spots.
Well, and we used to, and this is the thing that's changed. I've noticed it more this year, and maybe you'll agree with. I think you'll agree with me on this. Teams are starting to throw away the stages a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the first stage, like the way that teams are pitting these stages.
Well, the first season, Truex had so many built up that everybody thought that's the way to win a championship.
Yeah, and he didn't, but he
Right.
was the favorite by far. But I think points racing is done in stages 1 and 2 for the most part. But even then, you're not seeing it like you used to.
Yeah.
The way the way these stages are kind of splitting. I mean, I don't know if we've. I almost think that the way we're driving right now, we should almost go back without stages. I know that won't happen, but again, you're getting, it's devil's advocate because you're getting the randomness that you like. And fans, I mean, look at Jeff Gluck's poll. Fans like this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed this race for everything it had to do. I mean, Larson could have won this race. I would have been just as happy with it. But you know, it's just the way this car and the way these teams. I mean, there is a little bit of there's a little bit more randomness going on.
Just
than there has been in the past.
Couple of races ago, man, I was doubting the system with the whole Austin Dillon thing, and I mean, this is it, man. I mean, this is I get it. I do agree with the people that say that it cheapens the championship, and we've talked about this a million times. I won't dwell on it. It does cheapen the championship a little bit, but damn, is it way more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, we had underdog winners in the previous couple of weeks. Like Austin Dillon won that race, and it left us with a bad taste in our mouth. But that's an underdog win, and we almost should be celebrating it. But the way he won it was like, oh man, that was gross. And NASCAR rightfully said, you are not getting the playoffs for that. And then Harrison Burton wins at Daytona. And we're like, that's a great story, but I mean, he is the worst driver statistically in the points right now. He is the worst full-time driver, and he's going to get a chance to run for a championship. And then you got a guy who just, kind of revived it a little bit with the way he had to do it.
It's funny how our positions change week to week.
Yeah, it's
because everybody's celebrating this win, right?
Yeah, and we were all like, "Ooh, that win for Burton was I don't know about that."
Right,
it
was a little
weird.
Icky.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how we should talk about this on the podcast. And I just don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. I think we accept Daytona for what it is, and sometimes somebody's going to win a race, and you're going to be like, "Well, that was weird."
Here's the thing, man. It's the system. It's the system they started the season with.
Yep.
Everybody knew the system. It is what it is, man. This is what we got, and it's fun.
And listen, man, that race when Harrison Burton and Parker Retzlaff won that race, that was as impressive as what Chase Briscoe did.
Yeah.
On the last lap, like that was really high level super speedway racing.
Yeah.
I just think what Chase Briscoe did was probably a little bit more.
Driver ability.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more like he had to really wheel it.
He was perfect, James. Like one brush of the wall and he loses that race, and he just ran. I mean,
well, in NBC with the beautiful decision to run that race out of Kyle Busch's windshield.
Yes, and the triple box. I usually hate the triple box, but man, was the triple box good.
Yeah, and you got Kyle Busch who is on fresher tires and he's in attack mode, and that's the angle.
Yeah.
That's what you want, because you're going to see, okay, you're literally watching Chase Briscoe be flawless, and you're watching Kyle Busch try to play. It was a chess match, and Briscoe goes into the corner a little high. Busch goes a little bit low. Now Briscoe's going to have to try to block because Kyle's making up time. Oh, yep. Kyle didn't make up time there. Let's see what they do in the next corner. It really is like corner by corner. You are just watching these guys on a chessboard making moves. And I think if Kyle had 3 more laps, I think we might have had a different race.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's because it's tough to catch that guy ahead of you.
It is so tough.
But
so tough.
Like I said, all it would have taken was a mistake, and Kyle would have been there. Yep. It just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And I just want to say, we're going to talk a little bit more about this race, but before we move off of how great of a track Darlington is. So I had the opportunity 2 years ago to go there. If you ever get the opportunity to go to Darlington and watch a race, I'm telling you, you think that this is a good race on TV, you're not even scratching the surface. You sit there where you can watch a turn, and they hit the wall every lap. It is insane. 500 miles, 300 miles, or 200 miles, whatever the day before last year in the Xfinity series, and I still was amazed by how close they ran to the wall in 3 and 4 where I was sitting. Just freaking absolutely amazing track. Just terrific.
And in some cases, they're just running up on the wall.
Yeah.
Why not?
They just hit it.
Put it right up there.
Every car's got a scrape down the side of it. It's the Darlington Stripe, man.
Yeah.
The only track that has it.
Yep. Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do that anywhere else.
No.
That's for sure.
Let's talk about the regular season championship. Tyler Reddick gets the regular season championship. 1 point over Kyle Larson, but sick the whole night. We did have some bad reporting during the race that he was sick in the car.
Yeah.
Turns out he was not sick in the car. Dustin Long, Jeff Gluck, those guys asking the questions. Or no, it wasn't Jeff. It was Dustin Long asking the questions in the press conference afterwards. Tyler says he kept it all in. Surprisingly, he was surprised by that. Sounds like We won't get to dwell on it too much, but sounds like the Imodium earlier in the day helped out quite a bit because he even tried to get it out and couldn't get it out. So bad, man.
I know.
I'm sure his interior guy is freaking thrilled. How much you want to bet they call up Martin Truex Jr. and said, "Hey, you mind getting in Reddick's car?" And he's like, "Nah, pass.
I wouldn't fit.
Hard pass, man. I'm retiring. I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'll retire today if I have to. I'm not getting in somebody's crappy
with
seat."
that report, yeah. All jokes aside, that performance, like we were giving Briscoe praise. Tyler Reddick gutted out
Literally.
that race, like literally gutted it out. He's got none left. So
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm trying to think of if I've ever. I was running my marathon a few years ago, and my body decided it was too hot and it was time to shut down. And I was walking for like 5 miles. I'm like, I'm gonna finish this thing, and everything hurt.
Yeah.
Everything hurt. And I can only imagine that Tyler Reddick was doing that for 4+ hours. Like, everything must have just felt absolutely terrible, and everything inside of him must have just wanted to quit. Because when your body is going through something like that, and then you're going out there and your heart rates are,
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are pushing their heart rate into the 180s.
Well, and it's freaking hot, and the G-force is pushing you around in that car.
Yeah.
And you've got an upset stomach. Like I don't like stomach issues that already.
No, they're the worst. They're the absolute worst.
But man, doing it in a freaking race car, not to mention, what's the one thing you want to do when your stomach's really hurting? You want to stretch out a little bit. You want to have some space. Oh no, you're cocooned in a race car, held in with tight seat belts, with a helmet wrapped around your face, claustrophobic. I mean, can you imagine a worse situation than that?
Oh. Man.
And he wins the regular season championship over the guy who dominated the freaking race.
Yeah, unbelievable. That, I mean, again, I remember, Eric, you'll remember this. I don't know if we have any newer fans who are listening. You might not remember Ricky Rudd at Martinsville.
Yeah.
Man, do you remember him getting out of the car and he was just absolutely toast?
Yep.
That's exactly what I expected Tyler Reddick to look like when he got out of that race car.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, the fluids must have worked. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
He did good.
Whatever they put in that water bottle, man, did some good for him.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, I just, all jokes aside, man, I am amazed.
Yeah.
That he did it, that he pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are something else already. I mean, it's really easy to sit there and think, well, they're just driving a car. Like, it's not that tough. And then they do something like that, and it's like, yeah, man, these guys are something.
Are you ready to give Denny Hamlin his flowers?
Sure.
4 seasons in, and they got a regular season championship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, half of one.
Technically, yeah. The driver got it. Yeah. Yeah. Even though Denny didn't.
Is there anything better than Kyle Larson's tweet?
Yeah. Yeah. Not technically. Yeah. Yeah, because Denny, that's really not Denny's championship. That is actually Tyler Reddick's championship.
Yeah.
So Denny still doesn't have one.
Yep.
And that team, though,
you saw the video of MJ giving him crap too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Denny walks in and he says, "I might as well touch it," and he touches the trophy, and Jordan says, "You got one of those, right?" He says, "No, I don't have one of those."
Well, MJ does now.
Right. Oh, too funny.
So that team has done a great job. I know Bubba Wallace didn't make it.
Yeah.
But when they got Tyler Reddick, like, this is why you go get the next generational talent. Put Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and Kyle Larson in a bucket, shake it up and pick one. You're going to be just fine if you're starting a team. Man, that's why you go in to get Tyler Reddick.
I had expectations for Tyler Reddick. I didn't have the expectations I have for him now.
Well, look what he did with that. I tell you what, now that we know a little bit more about what's going on at RCR, over these last couple of weeks, Tyler Reddick getting the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Not a bad decision.
No, not too bad at all.
But also Tyler Reddick having faith that team was going to continue to get better. Yeah. And they're just continuing to grow. They're taking the steps.
I mean, if
They're
you
getting
know
closer.
you're a good race car driver, James, who better to hook up with than Michael frickin' Jordan?
Michael
like,
Jordan, you got all the resources. Right?
Jordan is not going to lose.
No, he doesn't want to. I'm Eric.
If he loses, he's going to get rid of the person who's losing and start winning and get somebody who wins.
We had a mid-race interview.
Yeah.
With Michael Jordan.
More
and
props
he had
to
tears in his
NBC.
eyes.
More props to NBC for that.
More
one.
props to NBC. But Michael Jordan was emotional in his interview
Yeah.
mid-race because he wants this team to succeed so bad. I mean, the competition inside that guy is just like oozing out at all times.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even care about basketball. I knew who Michael Jordan was and I respected him, but I didn't care that much when he was playing. But man, just he could very easily phone it in and sign some checks and never be at the racetrack. But how often is he at the track?
Mm-hmm.
He's on the pit box. He's involved. And now he's getting comfortable enough there to talk to the media, which, I mean, it's hilarious that someone like Jordan Bianchi's nervous to go up and ask him a question.
Oh yeah.
But because to me, those guys are just used to doing that all day long. But I mean, that's what he is. That's the presence he is in the garage. Yeah. James, I didn't think that 2311 was going to become a powerhouse that quickly. I mean, they're a powerhouse.
Yeah. They're
Bubba I think has exceeded expectations despite not making the playoffs. Bubba had a good year this year.
Yeah.
He just hasn't finished where he needs to.
And I wonder if it's time for like a crew chief change.
Well,
there
that's
too.
funny you say that because I saw that on Reddit. There was a big discussion on Reddit of whether it's time for Booty Barker to go. And it's like, normally I wouldn't say that, but
maybe it's worth
the strategy
a shot.
seems to be the issue, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Booty's a great crew chief, but
yeah, and maybe it's just you gotta give him somebody new. Like not that he's Kyle Busch by any means. Like Kyle Busch is on his own, but Kyle Busch had times where he was with crew chiefs and it wasn't working.
Yeah, and Bubba's not driving badly. He's just doesn't have the strategy. He's not finishing races.
The cars are very fast.
Yeah,
always. Yeah, his cars are always fast.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's not. I don't want to say it's like it's just maybe it's just time for somebody different. Not
well,
that
that's the
Booty
thing.
does a
Like,
bad
it's
job.
just like pulling the goalie in hockey and putting the other goalie in. Like, it's not necessarily because the other goalie is better. It's just a change, something to change.
Yeah, and something with that 45 car, man. That 45 car is the standout for that team for whatever reason. Even when Bubba drove it, he was. Bubba drove that car and won races with it. So, yeah pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool story that those guys were able to get it done, and the way they did it was just incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Worth noting, too, they popped a graphic up during the race with Larson leading the most laps here. It's very common in the Southern 500 to lead the most laps and not win this race. Yep. Pretty much, I don't think you want to dominate this race. You want to be there, but you don't want to dominate this thing because it doesn't work out. Yeah,
and I saw Larson, I mean, when Briscoe made that 3-wide pass, I saw Larson pull back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, he was points racing. You could tell. And he doesn't do that.
Wasn't he also battling with Watermelon Head at that point, too?
Yeah.
Like, I would probably lift, too. You're running between somebody who's desperate and somebody who's not the brightest when it comes to making on-track decisions.
He was behind Ross, and then earlier in that race, he had a moment where Hamlin was challenging him, and I'm like, God dang it, if Denny does it, and Denny was on the inside.
Yeah, I was waiting for Denny to wreck him.
I'm like, if Denny does it again, I look out.
I was waiting for that moment.
He actually might force Larson to lose his mind if he keeps it up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that to happen.
I mean, the way they were racing, I mean, Denny wasn't going to give him anything.
Yeah.
Which he didn't have to either.
Right.
You gotta race hard, man. That's the way it goes. These restarts are nuts.
Probably worth pointing out the 9th place finish for Corey LaJoie in this one. First top 10 on a non-super speedway race for Corey LaJoie. After a couple of weeks of getting dogged on pretty bad.
Boy, did he let people know about it.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Corey. I guess.
Hey, man, he's only done it once in his career, so let him have it. Let him have this one.
Yeah,
James.
he can have this one. Eat it, trolls. Eat it.
Ryan Preece with a 12th place finish, so it wasn't just the 14 car.
He was up there on one of those late restarts as well.
Yep. Kyle Busch, we mentioned 2nd place finish for him. Just missed making the playoffs 2 weeks in a row. very respectful racing. He could have dive bombed it. He could have pulled an Austin Dillon and maybe gotten close enough to Briscoe to make something happen. But respectful racing for Kyle. I think his win's coming this year yet. I think now that they can concentrate on it.
That car, actually, he's getting better.
Yeah, they've definitely, they've been right there each week for the last several. So, I mean, even Michigan, they finished toward the front. So,
yeah.
And ran up front. And they were trying to throw a Hail Mary in that one with tire strategy to get a win. But they ran good in that race, too. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming for them.
Hey, Eric, whose pain do you want more? Or I guess whose pain is less? Let me ask you it this way. You have Kyle Busch for 2 weeks in a row, just barely misses it.
Right.
Or you're Chris Buescher and you look back in the closest finish in NASCAR history and you're out of the playoffs that way. Not to mention Kyle Busch in Atlanta too, missing out on that.
I think I would rather be Kyle Busch and knowing that you've done everything you could do. It wasn't, these weren't circumstantial misses. They were you just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Versus Chris Buescher, who just got freaking wrecked at the first Darlington by the guy who won the regular season championship.
Yeah.
And then, the closest finish in history. That one hurts. Of course, I mean, Kyle can say the same thing about a close finish also costing him.
Well, yeah, he had Atlanta and he had, I guess, Daytona kind of counts in that too because it's right there. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think I'd rather be Kyle. There's, I don't know. Because Buescher's still on a good trajectory.
Yes.
I don't know, man. It's tough. I wouldn't want to be either of them. So there.
I know the hurt is probably the same, but if you're Kyle Busch, it's like, God dang it, dude! I finally figured it out.
Yeah.
These last couple of weeks.
I think Kyle Busch is it's more important to him, and you saw it when he got out of the car. I mean, he was disappointed, but he wasn't like overly upset. To Kyle, it's, hey, we're running good enough we can get that win. Kyle wants that win this year.
Yeah.
He wants to win this year. He wants to keep that streak alive. He knows getting into playoffs wasn't going to win him a championship. He wasn't winning no championship this year.
Yeah.
As Tony said a couple years, back when he made it, of course he ended up winning it. He's just a waste of space in the playoffs right now, so there's no point in being there. Now you can concentrate on winning every week.
Bringing it back to Chase Briscoe, he said that as well. He said, maybe we don't belong here. Or maybe we think we don't belong here, but I know somebody who drove a car just like this who got it done when they didn't think they belonged either. So
yeah, Chase Briscoe, man,
it's a mountain.
He could finish dead last in the playoffs, or he could make it to the Final Four, and neither would surprise me.
Well, that team's got a history of hanging around.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, what better way to perform than this is your last hurrah. There's nothing to lose for those guys.
That's right.
Yep.
So. Not a dang thing to lose.
Nope. Anything else worth discussing in this one?
Oh man, there's so many.
I mean, we could talk forever.
But yeah, we could talk forever about the race. But I mean, it was just a great Darlington race overall. I mean, had everything you want. Yeah, man. I hate to leave this one in the dust, but I think that's it.
Right.
Joey Logano's name's wrong on the Southern 500 trophy. That's funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was gonna save that for my black flag, but I got another one. So.
Let's see. Zane Smith, highest finishing rookie, 23rd. Chase Briscoe, second victory in 134 Cup Series races for Chase.
Yep.
There you go. NASCAR Xfinity Series was in action the day before. Another heartbreak for Sheldon Creed, who had the race in hand, and ends up losing to Christopher Bell, who gets the win in this thing. Little surprised over the reaction that Sheldon Creed got to the fact that he's not getting paid this year. He got slammed pretty hard on social about it.
Yeah.
I get people don't like the buy and rides thing, and I'm going to make a comment about that later. But I mean, it's one thing to buy a ride because you've got deep pockets. It's another thing to pool all your resources together to get a ride and not take anything out of it. You know what I mean? To me, it's different. What Creed's done is different.
Yeah, he's still just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm so mixed on Creed. Like, I still think he's a great driver. I think once he gets over the hump, he's going to win some races. But, man, just can't freaking get that win.
Yeah, it's getting to be a mental.
Yeah.
like wearing things down.
It's got to be at this point, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's tough. Because I have a hard time with him because I don't know I don't know where to place him. Like he's somebody I don't have a feel for.
Right.
You know, as far as being like, is he gonna win some races, or is he just right on the cut? Like I can't figure him out. I can't place him. So yeah, maybe he will break through eventually. But he's got to do it. Like eventually, you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, he's running out of opportunities.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot of chances after colleague. So.
Yeah. Nope. There's not.
So.
There's not.
Or not colleague.
He's going to Haas factory.
Wherever the hell he's going. Haas. Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else with this one? We've spent so much time in the Cup race.
I know. Yeah. No, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Jesse Love, highest finishing rookie, 6th place. Justin Allgaier leads points, 28 points over Cole Custer. That was Christopher Bell's 19th victory in only 79 Xfinity Series races. Kid's pretty good in the Xfinity Series.
He's 2 for 2 on the season, by the way.
Yeah.
2 starts, 2 wins.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Chris Bell. I mean, geez, what are you gonna say? Yeah.
Right.
He's good. Yeah, he's pretty good.
There you go. James likes this point of the season when we hit the playoffs because he likes to break out some of our preseason predictions.
Oh, dear God.
Many of which we can discuss now because they've either proven correct or not. Some of which we will revisit at the end of the season. A couple we'll skip before we get there. So let's look back at the 2024 season predictions. Again, these were made before Daytona 500 when we knew nothing about what to expect this year. First one big gamble. My big gamble was, we both were terrible on this. My big gamble was that Kyle Larson would win the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca Cola 600 in the same day. Of course, he did not win the Indianapolis 500 and didn't even race in the Coca Cola 600, which largely led to him not winning the regular season championship. So,
yeah, if he would have showed up, he would have won the regular season championship.
Yeah,
all he had to do was get that 1 point.
Yeah. Meanwhile, James, you had Erik Jones making the final 8.
Yeah. I took we're going to talk about a little bit more in the next bullet point here, but yeah, that didn't go well, and he missed races. So I think you were closer than I was because actually Larson won at the Brickyard. It was just not the Indy 500. So yeah. I think you win that round.
Teams to watch. James, who were your team to watch this year?
Well, you freaking nailed it. I had Legacy Motor Club.
Yeah.
They might need another year. They're gonna need some more time. I thought the Toyota thing would bump them up a little bit, and they have gone backwards. So.
I thought it was a good prediction, but yeah.
Man. Yeah, they're irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
So.
Learning curve for sure. I mean, they're irrelevant, but Jones did make himself known a little bit during practice at Darlington. Still good there. So.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, he's still fast there, but just not fast. I mean, the car's just not there. It just doesn't have it. My
team to watch was Spire Motorsports. I mean, sort of has come true, right?
You get this one easy because
I definitely beat yours.
Well, but also I think I think you nailed this because that team is actually being talked about on a weekly basis because they've made a leap.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar has been very good, and Zane Smith has had some really good runs. I mean, Hocevar was getting top 10s every week there for a stretch. So, no, and he started on the front row at Southern 500.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're building towards next year, and the future looks really bright there. So
Spire Motorsports definitely took a big step forward this year, and like they're not competing for wins. That's not the point of this. This is like, hey, this team's on the map now. Where Legacy Motor Club has faded away, I think Spire Motorsports has taken their spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, good call by you. That was a really good one.
We got the next one right, James. 2 drivers that made the playoffs last year that wouldn't make it in 2024.
We're gonna have to expand this next year.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, McDowell and Stenhouse we both picked.
You nailed that one.
Yeah. That's a good pick.
Yep.
Not bad. 2 new playoff drivers, James. Who are your 2 new playoff drivers?
Well, I got one of them. Not Erik Jones. Ty Gibbs. Yeah. Ty Gibbs.
I also had Ty Gibbs, but Corey LaJoie as well. I feel like I'm closer on this one. I don't know where they're at in the points.
I don't know.
I feel like Corey was closer than Erik Jones this year.
I feel like
they both were bad.
I'll say this: one of them signed a long-term extension with their team. The other one doesn't have a
True.
job.
That's true. All right, you win.
So maybe I'll win that one. I don't know.
Yeah. We both failed the next one too. Who will be the first driver to win their first race this season?
Yeah.
I continue to pick
Harrison
Ty
Burton on our
Gibbs,
list.
but
Yeah.
that wasn't.
He could still win. Ty Gibbs could still win.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the first. What do you think of your choice?
Josh Berry, he had a couple of shots at it. Just not there for him yet.
I don't think
we go to Martinsville maybe.
We didn't see SHR falling apart quite as much as it did at the beginning of the season.
Picked Josh Berry, and since then SHR has announced it's not going to be around.
Going out of business. So
yeah,
you cursed him, James.
I did. I think I did.
Final four. Let's discuss this, and then we'll do the news, and we'll visit our brackets here after we do the news.
Okay.
Final four. Give me your final four prediction at the beginning of the season, James, and then we'll redo this for later for our actual picks.
Yep. So I feel like I'm in a decent spot here. I went Larson, Byron, Bell, Keselowski. I think that's pretty solid.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's possible. At this point, it's still possible.
I like Brad at. I'm looking ahead, and Las Vegas sticks out to me because I think Brad could do good there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Let's keep this in mind too. That now all the emphasis is on Brad on that team this year at the rest of the season. So.
Yep. Exactly.
So they're going to be pumping the resources into one car versus two.
Don't ask me if I put him in my bracket though.
Okay. My four were close to yours. Same three, with Larson, Bell, and Byron. I had Logano as my fourth. Again,
How
possible.
You feeling about that?
Still possible. Not so good. Not so good.
Yeah, he's just kind of there. He's just out there. I don't know.
I may have a couple changes to that, but we'll see.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then 2024 champion, we both picked William Byron as our pick on this, and let's save that discussion until we talk about the bracket because I don't want to give anything away.
Boy, were we feeling really good early in the season.
We really were excited about William Byron this year.
But I wouldn't cross. I'll just say this: I wouldn't cross him off.
I'd never cross off a Hendrick driver, but
not yet. I wouldn't cross him off yet. He may not be out lighting the world on fire, but I remember. I remember vividly because I was an idiot last year and said, and I will never forget this. I doubted Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
And
everybody but Dale Jr. doubted Ryan Blaney last year.
Yep,
James.
and he went on to win the championship. So, yeah.
There you go.
What did I say? He turned into a pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yep. Boy, he pumpkined his way all the way to a cup title. So.
Right.
Man, oh man, idiot.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. All right, let's burn through the news real quick here. We did get the official announcement of the 2025 schedule. We actually got all three schedules last week after we recorded. The Cup Series schedule came true as predicted by Jordan Bianchi. We got Mexico City for the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series next year. We kind of already discussed that. I don't know if there's anything else really to discuss there.
I like the move there.
Yeah, it's growing on me. I mean, I don't.
Although I did see some highlights of Montreal, and I just my fondness for Montreal is second to none.
There's better places we could go, but as they pointed out on the teardown this week, we have gotten a new track every year for the last 5 years in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
And prior to COVID, we barely got new dates, so we should be really excited about what NASCAR is doing. Nothing's set in stone. It's good to see. I mean, I guess some things are set in stone, i.e. Darlington on Labor Day weekend. NASCAR knows never to touch that again. Thank God. And so, but it's, I mean, again, new market, great deal. And I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it's perfect. You got Daniel Suarez right now. It's the time is right for this move. So
they're sniffing around Pato O'Ward to get him in a cup car.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah.
IndyCar star for those who might not know, but
yeah. We got Rockingham for the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series. That one we saw coming as well.
Yep.
But good to see. Anytime we get an old track like that back, I'd love to see the Cup Series back there eventually. Very disappointed with this though because it is on Easter weekend, which is also my wife's 40th birthday this year, so I can't go to this race. I asked her if she wanted a 40th birthday present, a trip to North Carolina, and she passed on that. So I will not be going to Rockingham for the return of the Truck Series.
Was there a look of any sort?
No, she didn't get angry, but it was pretty quick
Like,
no.
Solid no.
Yeah, it was a not interested. Like it wasn't like a hey, maybe if you plan a birthday a week in advance or something, we might. No, it was a no.
Well, your wife typically celebrates birthday month, doesn't she?
Yeah, but it's her 40th, so she needs
So it's a birthday quarter this year?
yeah, I don't know, something.
Well, you're screwed, dude. You're gonna have to really go
Right,
all out.
right.
Yep.
The trucks replaced the Xfinity Series at Michigan.
I actually love this.
You
I know
like this
you're not as
move.
big a fan. I like this move.
I don't not like this move because the trucks. I mean, the trucks and
Trucks put on a
Xfinity
good
Series
show
are
there.
both good at Michigan. I like the Xfinity Series better. Period. Especially right now, I feel like it's more competitive than ever. So I would rather see the Xfinity Series here. Now, if they're going to run the package they ran this year in the Xfinity Series, no, I'll take the trucks all day long because the trucks have just put on a better show.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I prefer the Xfinity Series. So, but I'm not disappointed. I honestly wish we'd just run all three. But
Yeah, we should be. I don't
beggars,
know why
beggars
we're
can't be
not.
choosers. So
I know. We should
and-
have all three at Michigan.
yeah. And the surprise, the Truck Series will race at Lime Rock
Yeah.
Park next year.
One we didn't see coming.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of this one?
Well, this one's rooted in history, which I did a little reading on. Lime Rock was supposed to be on the original Craftsman Truck Series. Well, before it was Craftsman, it was the Super Trucks.
Okay.
It was supposed to be on one of the original seasons of the Super Trucks, and they could never get it done.
Interesting.
So this is kind of like a throwback that could have been, I guess.
And it's a
So-
short road course, isn't it? It's like a mile and a half.
tight little road course. This is gonna be good for the truck
It'll
series.
be
I'm gonna
perfect.
make sure that my butt is in front of the TV when they race at Lime Rock because I think it's gonna be a good show. This is gonna be Canadian Tire,
Yeah.
a little bit, which I loved. That was a great race.
Yeah. Canadian Tire is an excellent racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a good move. I was really excited about this. Very cool. We joked last week too, off air that the Truck Series gets the experimental races, the Cup Series gets the tried and true. We know this is going to work races, and the Xfinity Series just gets blah.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, at least
Although,
they do get to go to Mexico City. They did
And they get the rock.
They did get the street course. They do get the rock. So they're not completely left, but they're not breaking any barriers.
They're
in
just
the
the
Xfinity
support
series.
series for the big show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
They help fill our weekends.
Yep.
So.
it is what it is.
Yep.
Brandon Jones got the wallet out and bought a ride at JGR for next
For the
year in the
second-
Xfinity Series.
For the second time.
Yeah, second time. Yeah. I don't know what to say about this.
Things that JR Motorsports didn't go the way he felt.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess Sheldon isn't buying his ride, so Joe Gibbs has a ride to sell next year. So there you go, Brandon Jones.
Interesting. I don't know what's gonna. I mean, he'll probably win races there. He
Yeah.
should.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Charter negotiations. Let's talk some charter
I
negotiations,
love
James.
how we ended that. I
Yeah,
just love
there's
that
not much
topic.
else to talk. It's Brandon. I mean, it's kind of like Paul Menard signing a contract. So, so Denny's partner at 2311 was wearing a shirt on pit road with a piece of paper stapled to the back that said not to ask him about his charter during the race weekend, that because he doesn't want to disparage NASCAR and lose it. Denny implied on his podcast that part of the new ask from NASCAR is to not say anything bad about NASCAR as part of the agreement. So that's interesting.
Like on a podcast. Like on a podcast.
Yeah, right. Like maybe, yeah. But Adam Stern
Well, the
thinks
only
Adam Stern thinks they're
owner
close
out
on
there-
this.
The only owner out there on a weekly basis bashing NASCAR is Denny Hamlin.
Right. But yeah, Adam Stern thinks it's close. Thinks there could be an announcement this week. I kind of think there needs to be. We discussed before. We kind of thought this needed to go before the playoffs. Can't get any closer than right now to make that sign those papers, right?
Yeah. I still don't think they're gonna get it done.
No, if Adam Stern's saying he thinks they're close, I think they got to be close, right?
I mean, they gotta like, if they can at least just agree in principle and finish it, then maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they need to sign it.
Yeah, they do. They have to get this done.
Yeah.
They have to get this done.
Yeah, they do.
It's not only is it going to bleed into next year, which is going to be a problem, but like the Netflix show is trying to film, and there's teams that are just deciding not to participate until they get the charter done.
Right,
which
and
I don't blame 'em.
that's one of the reasons that Stern thinks it's close too, because they were talking to people this weekend. The Netflix people were recording, and most of these teams have said no until it's done. So
Good.
That's a sign in the right direction too. So we'll see. Very likely we could see an announcement this week, and we can discuss it next week as to what the agreement is. If we find out the details, we can be sure that Stern or Bianchi will have it though. So,
man.
Speaking of Bianchi, Jeff and Jordan announced on the teardown that TNT has a new NASCAR show starting up. Will feature Shannon Spake as the lead, Steve Letarte, Mama Smith, Jordan Bianchi on a panel with a rotating driver. Kyle Busch supposed to be on the first couple episodes to start. Not a lot of details out there. I couldn't find much coming in this. I just listened to the teardown on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a Reddit thread that we linked to in here discussing it. So good to see TNT is going to invest some money in it in the sport. You would imagine the new partners would have to or would want to.
Oh yeah.
TNT's done a good job with their. They've got an NBA show, that sort of stuff. So it'd be good to see what they can do with it.
Yep.
So
yeah, and TNT does a really good job with their studio stuff. Obviously, they have the best studio show of all time with Inside the NBA. So
it'll be interesting to see like what exactly the TV setup's going to be, because it sounded like. So I read something recently about the fact that Fox is doing their first part of the season and then NASCAR Productions takes over. So I don't know how much of even the NBC portion is going to be involved in NASCAR Productions. It kind of sounds like that's why NBC has the freedom to do some of the stuff they're doing, like with the commercials.
Yep.
Is because they're more under NASCAR Productions. So I don't know. It's interesting.
There's the looming that's tied into this a little bit. There's the looming NASCAR channel.
Right.
The quote unquote. I mean, it's not going to be a NASCAR only channel, but that's what they're calling it.
Right.
That's going to be coming as well. So there's some stuff going. We're going to be learning a little bit more. There's some stuff going on.
Yeah.
That we're going to have. So
hopefully it's all good. I mean, it's got to be more programming, right? I mean, so that's a positive, you'd think. So.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to have these things to help support the product.
Yep. And new TV partners means new stuff. So it's exciting to see what happens. So. With that's our news, James. We'll bust through checkered flags really quick here. We already mentioned one of my checkered flags was Kyle Larson dunking on Hamlin. That was cool to see. The other one I wanted to throw out is just NBC in general. We already talked about them a little bit, but the production that they're doing in their portion of the season, especially since they've added Lee Diffie, if there was ever a doubt that Lee Diffie should be calling NASCAR races, that should have been erased the last 2 weeks, because
he's good.
He's so freaking good. Just terrific. They've done an awesome job all around. Just super excited to see. If you're Fox, man, you should be ashamed. I mean, at this point, NBC's just eating your lunch, man. I mean, period. That's all I got to say.
There you go.
How about you? Any checker flags this week, James?
I'll give mine to Stewart Haas Racing.
Okay,
just everybody out there continuing to work and not knowing that some of them are going to have jobs or not. Just the fact that team got one more.
Yep.
Whatever happens from here on out, that you go out with a major victory like that at the Southern 500. That's a good way to end it. If it has to end, then we've at least got this really cool moment to go out on. So kudos to them. Very good.
There you go. How about black flags? Any black flags this week, James?
Richard Childress, formerly called Jackass Corner. We'll keep it black flags for now. Did you hear the comments from Richard Childress over the weekend?
I didn't specifically hear them, but I got the gist.
So, in short, he said NASCAR finishes are changed forever. He was disappointed that he didn't get his way with the appeals, and then the second set of appeals that all went NASCAR's way. So he was mad about that. Basically, integrity's gone in NASCAR.
He's right. He's right. NASCAR has changed forever, James.
Yeah,
you can't make a freaking bonehead move and wreck 3 guys or 2 guys to win the race and earn your spot into the championship. It's changed forever.
It has changed forever.
There's integrity in our sport.
There's
How
integrity.
Dare NASCAR?
Well, and I wish I would have talked about this when it happened, but I went back and saw. I remembered this way too late. I don't know why. I just remembered it. But Michael Schumacher intentionally wrecked his opponent for the F1 world title many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if they both DNF'd, Michael Schumacher won the championship.
Right.
disqualified for the season because of that. Didn't even have a points finish.
Yeah.
F1 turned out okay. They're having fun right now.
Right.
That nobody's wrecking each other for championships anymore, on purpose anyway. So Richard can, yeah, I don't know, man. That whole comment sucked. And then of course he says he's writing a book, and this whole thing is going to be a chapter in his book. So black flag to Richard Childress for just lunacy, and shout out to Dale Earnhardt for keeping that organization going many years after his untimely passing, because holy smokes, what a show they've got going on over there.
Interesting to hear Kyle Busch make a couple comments over the last couple weeks about not wrecking somebody to win.
Saw a rumor today. Don't know how true this is. Saw a rumor that Kyle Busch is sniffing around 2311. And that
Wouldn't
deal
that
might not
be fun?
That would be a lot of fun. Man, you put him in one of those cars. Whew.
I don't know. He was in the GGR car and he didn't do anything.
Well, that was yeah.
I think the next gen car is Kyle's problem.
Could be.
I mean, being at Childress isn't helping, but I think the next gen car is the issue.
Could be.
He's good till that thing came out. So
He's still good.
My black flag, James, you'll enjoy this. My black flag is kids in general.
Oh no.
Kids suck, right? If it wasn't
other people's kids do.
If it wasn't for a kid, Tyler Reddick would have been fine this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
This freaking kid got him sick.
Back to school time.
Kids go back to school, they bring home sickness. I'm sitting here right now suffering. I don't know if it's allergies or if it's a cold that my kids brought back.
It's probably COVID.
Black flag to kids, man. Poor Tyler Reddick.
I had a conversation with my wife recently, and we were just, I'll keep it short. We were just talking about kids.
Yeah.
And she said, I think I figured you out. You just don't like other people's kids. And I said, bingo. Yes.
Well, no. See, here's the thing, James.
They're all terrible.
Let me correct that. You can just cut it off at you just don't like other people.
Yes. Yeah. 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 The kids are the worst.
This is why we have a friendship.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew you back before you had children.
Yeah. Same.
You were the same beast though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man. Kids. Good call though. Nice work.
There you go. I'll bust through short track corner here real quick. Ryan Millington won the Cookout 225 Cars Tour late model stock race at Florence Speedway over the weekend. Always a big weekend with Darlington in town, just down the road. Spencer Davis got his first pro late model win for the Cars Tour as well. Both Keelan Harvick and Braxton Busch earned wins in their classes at Florence. That was cool to see. Keelan won in the Legends, and Braxton Busch, I believe, swept the weekend in the Bandoleros. So, and the Cars
Tour. He got
Tour
dumped on the backstretch at one point. Too.
Did he? Yeah, I didn't see that. I watched Friday night's races on Flow. Getting my money's worth out of Flow though, so that's good. Cars Tour heads to South Boston Speedway in Virginia September 14th to continue their season. And there you go. That's short track corner this week. Nice and short.
Beautiful.
Let's preview the Atlanta race and the playoffs, James. We head into the playoffs. We're going to talk about our brackets now. We'll try to do this quickly because there's a lot here. We'll post these on with the show notes as well. James, make sure you send me yours so I can add it to the show notes.
Take a picture of it right now.
But let's do this. We'll do the first four out, and then we'll do. I think we've done in the past. We've done first four out, then final four, and champion. That work?
Okay.
If there's any notables in round of 8 that you want to point out, go for it. But we'll do first four out. Give me your first four out, James.
Yep. I was gonna say I can make this easy, but I wanted to put the caveat in that Atlanta scares me just a little bit. I don't want to just make it sound like it's that easy.
I did note, by the way, too, before we recorded this, that I've changed my bracket twice, and this is one of the places where I've changed it since I created it. So
yeah, Atlanta does scare me because there's a little bit of wildness to Atlanta. So, but that being said, I'm gonna go with my gut. Harrison Burton, you're gone. Austin Cindric, you're gone. And this is the scary one. Daniel Suarez, you're gone. Okay. I know you won Atlanta, but you're gone. And then Alex Bowman, see ya. You're out.
Interesting.
Yep.
So I have Cindric out. I have Burton out.
Okay.
I have Suarez making it. Over, and I have Alex Bowman making it.
Oh.
I have
okay, so
Chase
definitely.
Briscoe out because I just don't think the magic is going to continue there, unfortunately.
It's going to be hard.
Again, I would not be surprised to see him go out, and I would not be surprised to see him stay in. The other one I have out is Martin Truex Jr.
Oh.
The reason being, James, he's got nothing.
He's been terrible.
They've been bad, and he doesn't have playoff points to fall back on.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. They have to do well. They're going to go into Atlanta, and Atlanta's not going to be a great race for him. Watch him win, but it's not going to be a great race for him.
That's the one that scares me. Atlanta scares me.
It's just not. So he's going to be in the hole after week one. There's just no way.
I thought about this, and I just think he'll be good enough at Watkins Glen and Bristol to be. He'll be okay. The other people are going to have problems.
Do you think Martin Truex Jr. is going to be better at Watkins Glen than Daniel Suarez enough to make up for how bad he's going to be at Atlanta?
That's the Atlanta problem.
See, that was my switch. Is I had Truex in, and I pulled him back out for Suarez because I think the round sets itself better up for Suarez.
Yeah. But Daniel Suarez hasn't shown me anything either. Again, I'm saying all this. It's going to come back to bite me. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Trackhouse cars just aren't that fast, even at Watkins Glen, where Daniel Suarez could be pretty good. Yeah, he might make it. He might make it through. I don't see it. I don't see it right now.
Before we talk about Final Four, I'll ask you this one. How far do you have Chase Briscoe going?
One more round.
One more round? Okay.
Yeah, I just think he's gonna. I looked at Bristol and I said if he can survive Atlanta and have a decent Watkins Glen, then he'll be good enough at Bristol.
And you would imagine he'd run good at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, he'll run good at Watkins Glen. He'll be a top 10. That's why I said if he can get through Atlanta, guys are going to have problems in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta's going to be a problem.
Well, first of all, that somebody, we're going to pick this and we're going to take all the guys that are likely to get in and we're going to make them get to the round of 8, and somebody's not going to make it.
Yeah, like Brad Keselowski could go out there and lead every lap in Atlanta because he's that good on speedways and crash, and that's the end of his playoff run.
Yep.
You know, that's the hard part that we're going to have to deal with. And then they go in the next round, they have Talladega. So you've got this massive gauntlet here that's going to really thin the herd before we get to, the round of 8 where things will kind of stabilize.
Well, and remember what Bristol was like in spring. That's a wild card now. Watkins Glen's supposed to have a ton of tire wear.
Well, and we have in each of the first 2 rounds, we have a road course because you end at Charlotte in round of 12. And then you start with Kansas and you go to Talladega. Similarly to the round of 16, you got a speedway, and it's like rolling. You got a lot of rolling of the dice here these first 2 rounds. You're just going to have to be smart and take advantage. I think if you take advantage of stage points, if you have an opportunity to get stage points here, that's going to
especially in the first round.
Yeah.
Stage points are going to be really important.
Like if you're Larson and you're Reddick, you just got to be smart.
Right.
You just got to be just don't make mistakes.
And
if you crash out in the 3rd stage, fine, but just be up there. Just stay up there.
There's 12 spots in the next round and only 3 possible winners at the most. So
Yes.
all but 3 spots are going to be decided by points. So points race in the first round.
Yep.
All right, Final Four, James. I'm gonna put out 2 of mine because I'm sure they're the same as yours. I have Larson and Bell both in the Final Four. Do you have both of those?
I have Larson and Bell. Yep.
All right, who's number 3 for you?
I still have William Byron.
Okay, you have Byron.
I think he's going to score enough points, and once we get to Vegas and Homestead, he's going to. I mean, he's really good at Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. So if he can just get through, he'll be fine. William Byron, I got him. I got him still in.
I pulled him out.
Yep, that's okay.
And as a matter of fact, that was my other change. So
it's deserved.
I pulled him out and put Ryan Blaney in.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think Blaney has more. He has more momentum right now than Byron does. Byron has really stalled, and again, it's a Hendrick team. They can turn things around in a heartbeat. All it takes is a couple wins.
They've been fast. They were good in Darlington. They got wrecked out.
Yeah.
Obviously, not if they're doing, but yeah. I mean, again, they're fast, but execution.
And I mean, he was my pick to go the whole way, but I'm not as high on him.
I'm gonna stay with him. I think he can get there.
Who's your 4th?
Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick. So is mine.
He's got too many points. I just think he'll be fine. He's going to race well at Watkins Glen. He's going to race well at the Charlotte Roval. He's going to be tough. He's going to be tough to beat.
Did you change your champion from your preseason prediction?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to guess.
You'll nail it. Go for it.
Now you're making me wonder.
It's not Byron. I had Byron. It's not Byron.
You're going Larson, aren't you?
I just have to.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what else to do. He's just.
A lot of people are picking Bell.
I know, and if Bell gets there, he's going to be a problem.
Who do you think mine is?
I think you did pick Bell.
Nope.
Did you pick Reddick?
Tyler Reddick.
Wow.
I think Tyler Reddick has proven they have stopped making the mistakes. And so
he's the most consistent.
Here's the thing with Tyler Reddick. So this is what got me today. This is what really sold me even more on him, he was already my pick. But then I listened to the teardown on the way home, and Jordan and Jeff both said Tyler Reddick's really come on this, towards the end of the regular season. Mm-hmm. No, he hasn't. Tyler Reddick has been good all season long.
Yeah.
How many second place finishes does he have?
Top 10s. He gets a bunch of top 10s.
He was on freaking we were worried about him mentally because of how upset he was over second place finishes. Yeah. He won at Talladega in April, or no, it was even earlier than that. When the hell was Talladega? It was early in the season.
It was a long time ago.
He has been on all season long. They have tons of momentum. They just won the regular season championship. Yes, they got to beat Kyle Larson, but I don't think Kyle Larson has it in his nature to points race the way he's going to have to.
Yep.
And I know he did it this weekend, but it didn't work either. And that's even more of a reason for him not to do it. I think he needs to points race too much to win this championship. And I think Reddick's in a better position. Like I said, they haven't made the mistakes that's gotten in their way previously. So
yeah,
they're
just the most consistent. I have no issues. I really think Larson, Reddick, and Bell are the best picks you could make. Any of those, I can't rebuttal any of them. There's not much of a weak spot for those guys.
And you know how great it would be to see Denny Hamlin's team win a championship before Denny Hamlin does?
That'd be so funny. Hey man, Tony Stewart's got a Daytona 500 ring. It's just not his.
That's true. It's true.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I mean, no better story for NASCAR than to have Michael Jordan in victory lane at Phoenix,
Yeah.
with a championship. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. So.
Yep. See, I just saw it again. Kyle Busch, 2311 in the 36 car.
Man, I would love to see that.
Why do I keep seeing that?
Well, they're the only ones who haven't announced, but I mean, where's Riley Herbst going then? We know he's going somewhere. He's got to be going there.
Well, if you have a chance to get Kyle Busch,
right?
Poor Riley Herbst's going to have to.
Yeah, I guess if it's not announced, it's not signed, right?
I keep seeing it. I'm checking Twitter to make sure we didn't miss any news for the end of this episode. I'm like, why does that keep popping up?
Maybe Riley takes Monster Energy to the 8.
It's out there, man. It's out there.
Yeah, but 2 weeks ago, Kyle Busch was going to Spire, so.
Oh, Jesus. Well, he was going to Spire all 2022 as well, so.
Yeah, there you go. Meanwhile, James, Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend, one of the best tracks on the circuit, in my opinion. Not better than Darlington, but in its own way, better than Darlington. Quaker State 400, available at Walmart on Sunday at 3 p.m. on USA. NASCAR Xfinity Series also in action on Saturday with the Focused Health 250, 3 p.m. on USA. Who is you? You get first pick. Who's your pick for Atlanta?
I do.
You do.
I do. You know what? I'll go back to saying this guy's going to make the Final Four. I think William Byron gets back on the horse.
Oh man.
I'll go William Byron. He's really good at speedway racing.
I'm going for redemption. Give me KFB. KFB. Non-playoff win to start the playoffs.
Perfect. Hey, man, Tony Stewart in 2006 missed the playoffs, and he went on a rampage. So,
I mean,
maybe that's Kyle Busch's job this year.
He missed it by a whisker earlier this season, so.
Yep.
See him get it here.
Is the track aging concerning you by any means?
No, not in the Cup Series, because the Cup Series is great on mile and a halfs anyway.
Okay.
So I don't think it matters. I think this race is going to be excellent no matter what. If it's aging enough, then it's just going to be less like Daytona and more like Kansas. So good. I mean, that's not bad. Xfinity Series, yeah, I bet you that race sucks.
Good. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that race not be good. I wouldn't be surprised to see that race look a lot like Michigan did for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I mean, that's the way it was in spring, really. The Xfinity Series was not good in the spring. But the Cup race was excellent, and I think we'll see that again. So, how about fantasy, James? How'd that go this week?
Not great. Green Eggs and Hamlin won again. He is
he pulling away from you?
He's pulling away. 231 for him. Jeff Gordon for GOAT second, and Smoking Grill Racing was third. Eric, you beat me.
I did beat you.
Yep. I had my whole team get wrecked in the big one.
When I checked, they must not have updated the points yet because I was behind you by like 2 points when I checked.
Yep, you beat me by 3. I had 168. Yes. So
sweet.
Yeah, I am.
That's all I care about at this point. I'm not going to win anything.
Yeah, I got within a skosh of the lead for the overall point standings. Now I am 92 points out of first place. Green Eggs and Hamlin is first. I am second. Team Justin, not that far behind. He is third. He's about a little over 100 points behind me. So, in 2022, Green Eggs and Hamlin was trying to chase me down for the championship. Now it's my turn. I'm gonna have to go these next 10 races and try to chip away at it here. Hopefully we can get it done. Eric, you are 9th right now.
Where I've been all season.
Overall. So yeah, still kind of a 2-horse race. I don't think Team Justin's out of this though. He's in it. Team Justin's in it. So kind of a 3-horse race right now.
It's the only reason I'm looking forward to the end of the season.
Get it over with. I know. I'm sick of fantasy. I don't even want to bring it back anymore. I'm tired of it.
I know. But we keep getting more participation every year, so it's like you gotta do it.
People like it. It's fine.
Yeah. James, where can people hit you up on social media if they want to chat with you during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at T Super Speedway on, I'll just say X. I'm giving in. It's X, whatever.
Don't give in.
Freaking X.
I was tweeting up a storm, by the way, this weekend.
Yeah.
I did.
I had
3 days. 3 days before Chase Briscoe's win, I did say it is not wise to doubt the talent of Chase Briscoe. I was pretty proud of that tweet. I had to put it back on top of my feed.
Nice.
Nobody cares.
Good prediction.
Nobody cares though.
No, I don't care.
It's just me tooting my own horn for my own gain. To which there is none. There is no gain.
Right.
If you want expertise like that, you come follow me.
There you go. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find show notes on there. We'll put the brackets up, James and I's brackets. I wrote a story this week after the Darlington race. Hopefully we'll do some more of that. Man, I'd love to see James bring back his power rankings, but I know that was a lot of work.
Oh, the power rankings. I love
the power rankings.
That was a good time.
Those were good days. I looked forward to reading those every week. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, wherever you found us today. Please subscribe. Continue to listen to new episodes each and every week. And if you want to leave an audio message, go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, and we might play it on the show. Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend, we kick off the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs with the Quaker State 400. NASCAR Xfinity Series in action on Saturday. We'll be back next week to break it all down and see who's still in and who's on the outside looking in. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.